C. Tech number 28 Windows XP. Chapter 3, Introducing Windows Operating Systems. Following are differences in Windows 7 and Windows XP that are associated with content covered in Chapter 3. Differences in the Windows XP desktop and the Windows 7 desktop. The Windows XP desktop and Start menu are shown in Figure C1. When you first install Windows 7 and Windows XP, only the recycle bin shows on the desktop by default. Vista shows the recycle bin and the sidebar on the desktop. You can use the Display Properties box in XP to control the Start menu and taskbar. Right-click the desktop and select Properties from the shortcut menu. The left side of Figure C2 shows the Display Properties box that appears with the Desktop tab selected. The right side of Figure C2 shows the Desktop Items dialog box that appears when you click Customize Desktop. You can accomplish about the same things using the Windows 7 and Vista personalization window in the XP Display Properties box, but they are organized differently. When you first install Windows 7 and Windows XP, only the recycle bin shows on the desktop by default. Vista shows the sidebar on the desktop. In XP, you can add other shortcuts by using the Desktop Items box shown in Figure C2. You can check My Documents, My Computer, My Network Places, and Internet Explorer to add these icons to the desktop. Also notice on this window the option to have Windows clean up your desktop by moving any shortcuts that you have not used in the last 60 days to a separate folder. Chapter 7, Installing Windows. Following are differences in Windows 7 and Windows XP that are associated with content covered in Chapter 7. How to prepare for and install Windows XP. Windows XP comes in these editions. Windows XP Home Edition targets the home computer market. It supports the FAT32, and NTFS file systems as do all the editions of XP. It is a 32-bit OS and can support up to 4 GB of memory. Windows XP Professional targets the business market. Features not in the Home Edition include the ability to join a domain, group policy, offline files and folders, encrypting file system, remote desktop, automated system recovery, multilingual capabilities, and support for multiple processors. Windows XP Professional x64 Edition, formerly called Windows XP 64-bit Edition, is a 64-bit operating system and can support up to 128 GB of memory. All other editions of XP are 32-bit and can support up to 4 GB of memory. Windows XP Media Center Edition is an enhanced edition of Windows XP Professional, and includes additional support for digital entertainment hardware such as video recording integrated with TV input. Windows XP Tablet PC Edition is designed for laptops and tablet PCs. Table C1 lists the minimum and recommended requirements for Windows XP Professional. Next we look at the steps to install Windows XP. Because the OS is so old and can no longer be purchased, the only situation you can expect to encounter is reinstalling XP when the current XP installation gets corrupted or installing XP on a new hard drive that has replaced a failed drive in an XP system. Here are the general steps to install Windows XP. 1. As for any OS installation, backup data file A and perform other tasks to prepare for an operating system installation. These steps are listed in Chapter 7 and are not repeated here. 2. Start the XP installation using one of these methods. For any edition of Windows XP, boot from the Windows XP Setup CD. A setup menu appears from which you can start a clean installation of XP, see Figure C3. Press Enter to start the installation. If you can start Windows, use the following command for any 32-bit installation of Windows XP, substituting the drive letter of your CD drive for D in the command line. D:/i386/win32.x. When you start the installation from within Windows, the Setup menu in Figure C4 appears. Select Install Windows XP. On the next screen, under Installation Type, select New Installation. The installation begins. If you were upgrading an OS to Windows XP, under New Installations, you would select Upgrade and then choose Express Upgrade or Custom Upgrade. When reinstalling Windows XP Professional x64 Edition, boot from the Windows Setup CD. Alternately, you can start the installation using the following command line after Windows XP Professional x64 Edition has started. d:/amd64/win32.x. For 64-bit installations, the installation routine uses file A stored in both the AMD64 and box/i386 folders. 3. Accept the end-user license agreement. Decide which partition and which file system to use for Windows. You can choose between FAT32 and NTFS. Choose NTFS unless the size of the volume is 2 GB or less. FAT32 does not use as much overhead as NTFS and is a better choice for these smaller volumes. 4. Select or assign values for your geographical location, your name, the name of your organization, and your product key. The product key must be entered before the installation will continue. 5. Enter the computer name and the password for the local administrator account. Select the date, time zone, and network settings. Most likely you need to install Client for Microsoft Networks and File and Printer Sharing, and select Dynamic IP addresses, enter a workgroup or domain name. Expect the computer to reboot 3 or more times during the installation. After you have installed XP, you need to do similar chores as you learned to do after installing Windows 7. Keep these differences in mind. Windows XP uses the Network Setup Wizard. To set up a new connection to the network, open Control Panel, and then click Network and Internet Connections. In the Network and Internet Connections window, click Setup or change your home or small office network. The Network Setup Wizard launches to step you through the process of connecting to the network. Windows XP uses My Network Places. To access the network, click Start, My Network Places. If you don't see network resources, try rebooting the PC. Use Device Manager to verify that the network card is installed and functioning with no errors. You might need to install device drivers for the network card or for the motherboard network port. To open Device Manager in XP, click Start, right-click My Computer, select Properties from the shortcut menu, and then select the Hardware tab from the System Properties window. Finally, click Device Manager. Windows XP uses the System Properties box to configure automatic updates. Click Start, right-click My Computer, and select Properties from the shortcut menu. The System Properties box appears where you can see what service packs have been applied, see Figure C5. Click the Automatic Updates tab to configure automatic updates. Windows XP uses the Add or Remove Programs applet to install and configure XP components. To install an XP component that was not installed during the installation, open the Add or Remove Programs applet in Control Panel. Click Add, Remove Windows Components. Check a component you want to install and click Next. Windows XP uses the Files and Settings Transfer Wizard. This tool is used to transfer user data and settings from one XP installation to another when a domain is not involved. Instructions to use the tool can be found in XP Help and Support. Windows XP uses the User Accounts applet to create user accounts. To create a new account in Windows XP, open the User Accounts applet in Control Panel and click Create a New Account. Enter an account name and click Next. For the privilege level of the account, select either Computer Administrator or Limited. Click Create Account. That will be all for this episode of CTech. Tune in for next Monday for Chapter 10, Maintaining Windows. Thank you for watching CTech and make sure you hit that subscribe and notification bell icon so you won't miss any future episodes of CTech.